Alright, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 with Cookie Pirate. Today we're flying the CubCrafters XCub on floats up in the Adirondack mountains of upstate New York. We're taking off actually from this body of water right here. Kind of right outside, that's actually pretty much right in Old Forge. And then we're going to fly up to the seaplane base on Long Lake. And this is saying it's only going to be about a 14-minute flight, but we may take our time. And we may also continue somewhere further up. So, don't really know an altitude. This is going to be a little bit more of an impromptu. Let's just fly around and decide what we want to do. But yeah, climb aboard and let's go flying.
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
Yeah, I know.
Here's up for water landing.
The gear is up.
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
Are you going to tell me 25 times?
Water landing.
Well, let's go ahead and get the airplane started here. So we are gonna... Oh!
For water landing.
It would be really important for me to actually plug my joystick in.
Here's up for water landing.
I am not about to do this flight with a keyboard and mouse.
Here's up for water landing. 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 Here's up for water landing.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get the airplane started up here.
For water landing.
Get off my speaker. Yeah, right? Welcome, Maria.
Here's up for water landing.
Alright. The master battery switch comes on.
Here's up for water landing.
We'll turn those lights on. Avionics on as well.
Here's up for water landing.
Hush!
Here's up for water landing.
Alright, let's go ahead and start the engine here. So we're gonna go full rich on the mixture.
Here's up for water landing.
I gotta move a couple things real quick.
Here's up for water landing.
I don't know why it keeps saying that when the
Here's up for water landing.
the power was shut off.
Here's up for water landing.
Yeah.
Here's up for water landing.
It's still saying it. What in the world?
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Alternator field and the ignition switch is on.
Here's up for water landing.
Yeah, we're clear up ahead. Let's get the engine started.
For
Clear!
water landing. Here's up for 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 water landing.
Alright. We're kind of going to let ourselves
Here's up for water landing.
turn.
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
Well, the other thing we could do is drop a water rudder.
Here's up for water landing.
That'll actually let us steer a little more easily.
Here's up for water landing.
But we have to be careful not to do it too abruptly.
For water landing.
Oh my lord.
Here's up for water landing.
We're starting on the water. That's some sort of a bug with this plane. I don't really understand
Here's up for water landing.
why it's doing that. This is absolutely gorgeous. We're getting the fall colors on the trees here.
Here's up for water landing.
So let's just
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
tell you what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull the tablet up real quick, and I want to zoom in and just make sure that we give ourselves as much room to take off.
Here's up for water
So we're gonna make our way back over here toward the edge,
Here's up for water landing.
and be careful not to beach the airplane, because then we could get stuck. You don't want to do that with the engine running when you're trying to get out. When you're coming in, it's normal to do that. Shem, welcome. Love the foliage. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
How many?
Here's up for water landing.
Oh, hey, there's a hidden button back here that was flashing, and we could just barely see it at that glance. That's how you make that annunciator silenced. Gears up for water landing. Gears up for water landing. Gears up for get off my speaker! Because I can't say get off the runway, so I can say get off my speaker! Thanks, Maria. That's gonna become a new running joke when we're flying the seaplanes in this sim. Thanks so much. Alright, let's get ourselves positioned. I want as far as we can. Kinda in a straight path here. So we're gonna angle back this way a little bit. Now we would do a run-up and everything, and going through the checklist, I'm not overly concerned about that right now, doing the run-up. I know the plane works right. What we will go ahead and do is we're actually going to set the flaps to 2. Normally we set them to 1, but this is going to help us get off the water surface a little bit faster here. I almost thought our pilot broke. No, the pilot definitely did not break. A cookie pilot cannot break. Let's get ourselves pointed down. We've got a nice open clearing right out here. So to take off, it's going to be pretty much the same as normal. We're pointed in the direction we want to go. Very gentle full power. Engine instruments look good. Now we're on the step. Airspeed's coming alive. We're going to hold back pressure on the stick here. And we should lift off in just a moment. And we're airborne. That nose drop a little bit here. Uh-oh. Ooh, we hit the water. What is going on? Why couldn't we climb? Alright, let's let the water effect kind of... with a little bit of rudder, we turn and we reduce some drag. Oh, the engine shut off! No wonder. Yeah, we came down a little hard on the water there. But with that flare attitude, we were going pretty slow. So, it was a good thing we were able to save that how we did, or it could have actually been worse, and we'd be looking at restarting. Let's get the engine restarted. You know what? It's this. I suspected as much. Good that I can swim. Yeah, Maria, you don't have to worry about swimming, because we did touch back down safely, all things considered. It was the fuel selector. Now, in the XCub back in 20, that starts automatically on the left. In this sim, it starts off. So the engine actually quit because it was starved of fuel. What we're going to go ahead and do, crank the engine back up. And let's make sure it runs. Alright. Now, rather than sail all the way back, what we can do is just take off the opposite direction, because we know we have a clearing. Had we been higher up, that could have been even more problematic, because we were able to touch back down on the water and slow down with enough time. Now we're going against the water. That could actually work a little bit in our favor, but it could also work against us. So let's get pointed back down. Let's try this again. Full power, nice and slow. Engine instruments are looking good. Now we're on the step. Airspeed is coming alive. And we're looking for right about 51. Come up. There we go. Brakes. Trim the... Whoa, you trimmed the airplane a little too much there. Alright, well, we're good. We can go flaps 1. Let's trim out a little bit here. And flaps up. And we'll need to trim a little bit more there. Next thing we're going to go ahead and do is grab the prop and just pull back just a little bit to maintain about 2650. Alright, we are airborne right over Old Forge. That is absolutely gorgeous. Look at all the fall colors. And yeah, engine is running fine this time. Let's go ahead and turn. We're going to get on course to Long Lake here. Let's not bank too steeply in the turn. Ooh. Pretty. Right down here is Enchanted Forest and Water Safari. It's a really cool water park. I've actually been there. It's right down here. You can see it right off the right side. And we're just going to hand fly the airplane. And we really don't need to go much above like 2,500. So if we pull the map up here, so we're over here. This is First Lake, and we're basically going to fly up over first, second, third, fourth, and then we're going to kind of break away and fly up over Racket Lake and come pretty much straight in over to Long Lake. So we're actually going to go up to 3,500. It's a good altitude. We could actually even turn the altitude hold on. So let's just actually set that real quick. 3,500. And we can pull back on the power. Down about 70% power. And we're going to accelerate. This is going to be a pretty fast flight. Only thing that we have the plane doing is holding our altitude. We'll turn on our own and everything. So we're going to rely kind of on our own navigation and reference to the lakes up here. Bralmick, welcome. Fall foliage below. Are we back in upstate New York? Yes, we are. We're back up in the Adirondacks. Alright. Our course track, we're actually flying south. So let's turn a little bit. And this is a short flight, so we're actually just flying it by hand. Now we're pointed east. We want to be about northeast, so about a 050 to 060 heading. Actually, our GPS track is telling us to go more north, interestingly. Hope you had a better day than I did if you didn't call in sick. I didn't. I ended up going to work. It was okay. I appreciate it. Need to take up flying for real just to get away from people. Yeah, right? Alright, we'll turn the autopilot off. A little bit of light turbulence up here. It's not bad. Let's trim the plane just a tiny bit here. And let's take a look at our course. Yeah, okay, so that's Old Forge right back there. We took off kinda over here. And this is First Lake. This is Fourth Lake, I think. This is Fourth Lake, actually. And the plane keeps wanting to turn a little bit. So let's just point out that direction there. And we are going to navigate. We'll pull the map up. Yeah, so we're just a little bit south of our route here. Which that'll actually, that's okay. If the plane would stop turning. And that's kind of going to put us right up on track for an extended final into Long Lake there. Tell you what, we are going to just go ahead and turn the autopilot on. It'll take us down. And our heading indicator. should be about there. But we're just going to navigate based on what we see. We'll refer to the map occasionally. This is true VFR flying. And we can just use the map as our reference. So we're actually angled a little bit away. So the next thing we can do, maybe a 10-degree turn. That should put us on the course that we want to be roughly. Ignore the nav indicator there. Yeah, Bromik, I hope you have a better evening. Figure we just do some light, easy seaplane flying. We're not even going all that fast. Beautiful view, though. Yeah, the fall colors are really starting to set in up here. It's absolutely spectacular. We might continue on after landing in Long Lake and do some more flying up here, or we could also go down to the islands down in Polynesia. Thank you, you're here. I'm learning about planes and stuff and don't need to think about the usual daily grind. Exactly. That's my whole reason for doing this too. Alright, so if we look off to the right, this is 7th Lake, I think. Let's take a quick look out the cockpit. We should probably retract the water rudders, but it's not a super big deal. Yeah, okay, so this is 7th Lake right here. The 6th, 5th, and 4th. 3rd, 2nd, 1st, and that's where we took off right back over there. That's where Old Forge there is. Some other lakes in the area. This is Racket Lake. Blue Mountain Lake is over here, and you can actually already see Long Lake. It's this long, straight, thin, narrow right up here, and we're going to be landing roughly over here. Hey, look, if you zoom in, you can actually see the tablet. That's really interesting there. Just the visuals in this are really good. Alright, let's go back into the cockpit here. Let's actually go ahead and pull the water rudders back up. We're actually going to gain a very small trace of speed. Long Lake is this long, straight, thin, narrow lake. Yeah, I wonder how it got its name. Exactly. We're going to turn another 10 degrees out so we can line ourselves up going straight with it. This here is Racket Lake immediately in front of us. Blue Mountain Lake is just over here, and then this is Blue Mountain itself. It's actually a pretty good hiking location. And just look at all the colors down below. That's spectacular. I'm a real sucker for fall foliage. I absolutely love it. I miss it, because we don't really get much color down here where I live. And we're still climbing for whatever reason despite the autopilot. had set 3,500, but we're climbing so slowly it's negligible, but we'll actually have to start descending, so we can turn that off and hand fly the airplane just on our way down. So let's turn a little bit more. Things are starting to turn up here in southeastern PA. I love the vibe that comes with fall, but I hate that it means winter is just around the corner. Yeah. I hear you there. Why does the airplane keep wanting to turn? Alright. Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna take some power out and just start descending. It shouldn't really be doing that. Let's pull further back on the power, actually. We can get our speed down as we descend. That turned us pretty far out. I don't know why it's doing that, not sure. Bromik, you did miss it. We had the engine fail on takeoff. We were maybe 100 feet above the water, so we were actually able to touch back down and slow down and get the engine restarted. So Long Lake is right up ahead. Blue Mountain Lake is this one right over here to the right, and that's Blue Mountain itself. It's a pretty spectacular place in its own right. Long Lake actually does have a designated seaplane base, which is interesting. We can add a little bit of power, and we don't want to descend too low yet. And let me get the plane trimmed out just to fly level for a little bit here. What I mean when I talk about trimming the plane is getting it to fly with the nose at a certain pitch without having to hold pressure forward or backward on the joystick. It's a good thing you missed it. Oh yeah, yeah, it was kind of funny. No big deal. Because I missed the fuel selector. I'm so used to, in the old sim, the fuel selector down here starts on left. In this sim, it starts on off, so I'm actually kind of confused how the engine started. Unless it just meant there was residual fuel in the lines, which is probably what happened. Alright, it looks like the seaplane base for Long Lake is actually just north of the bridge. There's a bridge that more or less splits the lake in two. It's not quite halfway up the lake. So we're gonna fly low right over the bridge and touch down. Keep the plane pointed down here. If we zoom in, we may actually be able to see it. Kind of, yeah. I see it faintly. Ooh, it's getting a little bumpy. Kind of when you're flying between the mountains like this, or in close proximity above them, you do get some turbulence. If you want to fly over bridges, you should fly into Reagan and Washington, D.C. Yeah, I've actually been into there in the real world. It's full of bridges everywhere. And other stuff. So let's just keep kind of steady pointing right along here. Kyle15, welcome. How are you? Lived in DC, but only flew in and out of Dulles. I've actually, to my knowledge, I don't think I've ever been into Dulles. I generally try to avoid DC, though. Alright, let me see what the elevation of the seaplane base is. 1629, so we're actually, right now, we're only about 1,500 feet above the water we'll be landing on. Where are we flying? This is Long Lake in the Adirondacks in New York. We're actually in a seaplane, so we're gonna touch down on the water here. Alright, we can go ahead and take some power out and start a descent. Final approach. Let's go flaps 1. We're slow enough that we can do that. Let's trim the nose down a little bit, and we want to get back over the water, because that terrain does rise up at the edge of the lake there. I know a lot of haters hate Dulles, but it's one of my favorite airports. I can't judge it either way. I just know the traffic gets bad there, but it does at Reagan too. I won't speak either way about the airport, since I haven't really been into it. Don't know much about it. What I want to be careful of is that terrain there. We don't want to get pushed into it. Well, we're flying right over Long Lake now. And we should come up over a bridge. We can really touch down anywhere on the water, but the designated seaplane base is just past that bridge. And I think I see it up ahead. It is a little tough to make out at the moment. But we're actually going pretty slow. Let's actually go ahead and add the second notch of flaps. And we'll add a little bit of power. Let's trim the airplane. It is a little bit bumpy. It's you see the plane rocking around a little bit. That is a mixture of me kind of making adjustments, but it's also the wind. Okay, yeah, so we can see the bridge more clearly now, so we're gonna land just past it. It's a road bridge. You can go across the lake. Alright, we are nice and slow. Yeah, there's the town is all kind of right down here on this side. But you can go across. And now you can actually see vehicles crossing. We're gonna touch down just past it. Let's go full flaps. And we want to touch down just past that bridge. Let's take the power out. We're going pretty slow as it is. Ooh. That is close. Ooh, we hit a little bit hard. But power's off. Or power's idle. We can drop the water rudders. And we turn, that'll give us a little bit of hydrodynamic braking. by virtue of flying the seaplane, the landings are just naturally not as, you know, certainly not as easy, and just inherently not as smooth, because if you think about it, you don't have wheels that hit and roll. You actually touch down on water with moving waves, and it can be a little bit tough making adjustments based on that. Short flight, barely 20 minutes. We can bring the flaps all the way up now. And if we pull the map up, the seaplane base is right back here, kind of right where we're heading. So that must be like a dock or seaplanes somewhere around here. Oh, but that's really cool. Take a look at the water. You actually can see the effects of the floats moving through it. That's kind of cool. I don't think that was really resembled in the old sim. Not even enough time to crack open the can of Coke or bag of peanuts? Oh, sure there was. It's really nice. It's so pretty up here. Oh yeah, this is where the dock is, but it's not resembled with like the 3D objects and stuff. So what we're gonna do is just bring the plane right here, and it basically beaches right there. And then from there, simple to shut the airplane down as we usually do. So alternator and avionics off. Mixture idle. Engine is stopped. Magneto's off, and that's it. Yeah, you can see kind of like a rock jetty right down here. Oh, that's so cool. You can go out and walk. Hold on a second. We're walking on water. Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, absolutely beautiful view, though. Upstate New York is gorgeous in the fall. It really must be experienced in real life. It's spectacular. I had a feeling when I said that somebody was going to say that. Am I Jesus? No. Where's the wine? Oh, man. Nice scenery. Yeah, Kyle, this is an absolutely beautiful part of the country to fly in. The Adirondack Mountains are spectacular, especially this time of year. Alright, I'm going to give you all three options. I'm going to let you vote. Have I ever flown to the Faroe Islands? You'll love the scenery. I have not. That'd actually be a fun place to go to. Alright, I've opened the poll up. Those were kind of my three thoughts. I definitely wanted to do this first. But I had a couple thoughts of other good places for seaplanes. So I might just take a look around for a moment, and I'll let you all vote. He can't produce one because he's behind the wheel. Ah, hey, you certainly can. You just can't drink it. So I give you all a minute. But I mean, I could just sit and enjoy this view. Just imagine having like a picnic, like up here at the lakeside with all of the beautiful fall colors. Sun's going down. Probably have about another hour of, maybe even a little less. Maybe about an hour of daylight up here. It is spectacular though. Alright, let's see what the votes are. We've got a three-way vote. Oh, man. Or a three-way tie. Oh, okay. We'd love to go fishing. Yeah, there's good fishing up here. I don't think it's known so much for its fishing. But I know there are good fishing spots. So, alright, we got a three-way tie. And so we can wait for somebody to come in and maybe break it, or what I'll do is just do like a random. You had 3 viewers and gave us 3 options, yeah. Yeah. Oh well. Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go into Google, and I'm gonna do a random number generator. And we'll just have them correspond. Do all 3? Ooh, Maria, that's a good idea. You know what? We'll do all 3. They're short enough flights. Alright, so let's go ahead and we'll actually end this flight. So that's the first one on the list. We'll go to French Polynesia second. Fly out of ABE and I can narrate the tour. That's true. I've actually been down there a couple times. So let's see, we'll go to French Polynesia next. Now, we have a couple options for that. Oh, it actually looks like the weather isn't very good in most of it. It depends on the cloud height down here. Let me see, I know they have weather reporting in Tahiti and Bora Bora. And that'll just give us a reference for the Society Islands. What the clouds are. They're low over Bora Bora, so that's not a good option. They're not as low over here, but actually, that's not looking too hot. What we could do is we have a little bit of clearing around some of the Tuamotus. Or we could do... We could go up to the Marquesas, where we flew the Diamond last night. We could go down to this island. This is... You know what? Maybe we'll do that. That's actually going to be a pretty lengthy flight, I think, if we go out of here down to there. Let's just map it out. So, if we load up right here, and we just plan a course right down to this bay here. "24 minutes? Y'all want to do that?" And we can keep the power in. Or the other option is we go down to... Oh, where are they? Oh, over here. The Tuamotus. Couple of the biggest airports are Rangiroa, Bakarava. Hao is somewhere over this direction. No, Makemo's another one actually, though. There's the Gambiers. Totagegia? However you say that, I'm not sure that that's totally right. This is the island of Mangareva right here. Yeah. Tell you what, I guess we'll do this one because it's short enough. And once you get into here, the view is it's one of the most spectacular places for sailing. So being out on the water in a seaplane, we'll have a good view. I do want to do a flight in the Tuamotus. Hopefully the scenery's a bit better than in 20 though. Alright. Here we are loaded in. This is an amphibious plane, so it can actually take off and land on water and regular land. So they're actually going to make us pre-flight the plane. Come on. I'm not really worried about doing a whole pre-flight. So let's just get the wheel chocks and the engine. Who is this? He's our co-pilot. Alright, let's go in. Same thing to start up the airplane. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Turn those switches on. Strobe and nav lights. Fuel pump. Mixture comes in rich. We can shut that off. Fuel selector to left this time. Let's make sure it's right. Let me check our fuel on board. I want to make sure that is loaded properly. It's 50%. We're good. Alternator and the magneto's on. Clear! And again, we're not worried about doing engine run-ups and stuff like that, because we know everything's working right. Let's release the parking brake and just go ahead and begin a taxi. Now, this plane handles a little bit differently because it doesn't have a tail wheel or a nose wheel. It actually has 4 wheels. So, what we're gonna do is we'll come down this way. So you have to taxi slow in this plane. You have to turn slow because it is inherently unstable. And we don't need the full length of the runway, so we can actually... What I think we'll do is turn around up at these white boxes. That's 1,000 feet from the end. Let's go ahead and set the flaps to 1. we should get a really beautiful view of the main town on this island. We missed it yesterday. Can run the power up a little bit. Not too much though. And we want to get kind of toward the edge here. Pull the power back to idle. And we're pretty good right about here. We can turn the airplane around. So what we'll need to do is get right to the edge here, and then crank a very slow, hard turn. Don't want the plane to tip over. That actually can happen. Alright, what I'm going to do is hold the brakes. We're going to go full power. Engine instruments look good. Let's release the brake. And we're looking for 55. Flaps 1. Our airspeed actually isn't working. And I know why. Missed one thing. Now we have to be able to climb up above this because there's some strong downdrafts that come from the mountain. And it can actually pull your plane down. But we're gonna get it this time. We're gonna get a really beautiful view. Look right down here. That's the town of Atuona. Small town. This island, I think, only has about 2,500 to 3,000 people living on it. There's a really cool resort sits up on this hillside, I think. It might be this one that we're flying right over. Absolutely gorgeous. It just drops kind of a sheer face from the mountain right down to the water. A quick view out of the cockpit here while we maintain control of the airplane there. Gorgeous place to fly. And that's the airport right over there where we took off. This right here is the island of Tahuata. It's the smallest inhabited island, and I think it's also the least populated. That actually might be Fatuhiva where we're heading. The two are pretty similar. Beautiful view of this bay right over here. There's another really small town, kind of right in front of the right wing if you see it kind of down there. It's toward the left of the screen. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's go ahead and turn the airplane on course. Plane for some reason keeps wanting to turn to the right. Turn that on. And that's it right there. That's why our airspeed and stuff isn't coming on. Because we forgot to pull that right there. That is a sensor that detects your airspeed, and that has to be removed before you fly. If we go out of the airplane, I could probably click it. Oh, maybe not. Cannot exit aircraft. Aircraft must be stopped. Oh well. So, I mean, that was just me forgetting to do that, but that's also just a good, kind of piece of information as to why you make sure that you do those critical items on the pre-flight. There's a way to bypass that stuff. In fact, I bet you if we go into here... Oh well, I'm familiar enough with this airplane to know what the safe speed is. It might make landing a little bit more tricky, but we're fine. This island right over here is Motane. It is uninhabited. It actually has some archaeological sites that indicate that it was inhabited at one point, and that the islanders actually left the island and went either there or up to here. Here's something else you can do in this sim that's actually pretty cool. I guess it isn't letting us right now, but I know in some planes you can actually crack the windows open. Cannot exit aircraft. There we go. Get some fresh air. Oh hey, there's actually a shortcut that you can do to get that taken care of, so we're just gonna do that real quick here. There we go. Alright, so is there is a hotkey fix for it. Did that guy leave or not? No, I'm still here. And we're flying right about 30... Right about 3,500. So we'll actually do altitude hold. Autopilot is on. Oh, the co-pilot! He's still here. And yeah, the cover's off. That's actually good to know in the future, if you ever forget something, or if you just want to skip all of that and get in the plane and fly it. Oh good, sorry, I'm paranoid. No worries. I know I said I would probably do Planet Coaster tonight, but I'm not sure that I'm gonna. We might. It isn't too late. I thought it was a stop when the window opened. No. Of course, you got seatbelts. This isn't also... We're not high enough to where that would... Like, where you would have aircraft to pressurize. Climb on the roof? I'm not sure that you can. Because you try to get out of the airplane, and it gives you that indicator, cannot exit, aircraft must be stopped. So I don't really think there's a way to do that. And you must be on the ground. It would be cool though if they gave you the option to do like what those stunt pilots do at air shows and stuff, where you you have somebody walk around on the wing. Some crazy stuff like that. Alright, so there's a good view of Motane right there. Yeah, that's way further back here. If we look a little bit back behind us is Tahuata and Kivawa back here. Yeah, I don't think we can see it. We're flying too low and the island is in the way, but I was gonna say up that direction. Wait! Yes, you can. Ever just barely. Way in the distance here. This is Nukuhiva. This is the largest of the islands. That's where we flew yesterday. It's very faint on the horizon. And then that's the island of Uapo. A little bit more clear. Can this plane stop someone from actually leaving? In the sim or in the real world? So we're about halfway. Lately somebody tried to open one of the emergency doors of an airplane for a quick smoke. That is a very good way to get yourself in a lot of trouble and probably on a no-fly list. That's just sheer stupidity. That is stupid with a capital S. And a capital TUPID, too. They probably smoked something before the flight. Yeah, right? That's a good way to get yourself in a bit of trouble, too, but... Hey, you only get in trouble if you get caught. That's... That's a terrible attitude, but it's... Yeah, in a sense, it's kind of true, but... Nah. I don't encourage anybody to even try to skirt that a little bit. Alright, so, where we're gonna be landing, if we zoom all the way in, you can kinda see a little bit of a recessed bay right back here. Now, that's the town of Hanavave on the island. And it is one of the prettiest places to go sailing. And so we're gonna kinda get to see a little bit of that kinda when we land on the water, with a great view of that bay. There's another town in another recessed bay, albeit to a lesser extent, kind of back here on the southwest side of the island, and these are the only two villages on this island. But it is spectacular. Top 100 things to try in life? No! 100 things Cookie Pirate does not condone. And in fact, likely strongly discourages. Like, don't get yourselves on a no-fly list. Couldn't they have named one town Smithville or something? Kidding, this language and culture is amazing. Oh, it's incredible. The Marquesan language is actually the closest linguistically, and I want to say ethnically, to Hawaiian. And it's believed that the Hawaiian Islands were actually settled by the Polynesians who came up from the Marquesas. But that may not be totally true, or it may not be completely the case. Because I think a lot of people from the main Society Islands, like Tahiti and stuff like that, went up to Hawaii. I'd have to look. I know Hawaii and the Marquesas were settled relatively late, comparatively speaking, compared to some of the other island groups in the South Pacific. So we're getting close. We're probably about 2/3 of the way. Yeah, maybe a tad less than 2/3. That the island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean? No, this is in the middle of the Pacific. The one you're thinking in the middle of the Atlantic. I mean, there's a few. I mean, there's Bermuda, but Bermuda looks nothing like this. And then there's a couple groups. I mean, you have the Azores and the Canary Islands. take a look out. That way, that's where we're going. Kind of right nestled into there. The terrain, as we get closer, it'll render more. And then back here is a beautiful view. This is Tahuata, this is Hivaoa. We took off from right over here. And then Motane. Oh! And I forgot that actually exists. It's a very just small little rocky island, uninhabited. It's not one of the main islands in the group. Oh, tell you what. It's not doing it in this plane. The hotkey isn't. But let's go ahead and put the gear up, otherwise we're gonna get that enunciator about gear up for water landing. Again. Oh, I was muted this whole time. Are you kidding me? I had my microphone muted. The island in the middle of the Atlantic, you're probably thinking of... Well, Bermuda doesn't look anything like this, but Bermuda's out there in the middle. And then you do have the Azores and the Canaries, but those are closer to Europe. They're not really in the middle, per se. The Azores kind of are. The Canaries are very close to the coast of Western Africa. This is in the middle of the Pacific. And I'm not sure if I got to your comments, Bromik, before I muted or not. Couldn't they have named a town Smithville or something? Hitting the language and culture is amazing. Yeah, it's, the Marquesan language and people, I believe, are the closest ethnically and linguistically to the native Hawaiians. Alright, we're gonna get ready to start descending, but we're gonna set a little bit of a turn. I want to kind of line up more with the shore, because we want to touch down in this this bay over here. So let's just get a little bit closer into the water, but we can actually start descending. This island is only accessible by boat. I don't think there are any seaplanes that service it, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. I knew all that. I saw Moana, joking. I actually have not watched that. Alright. I tell you what, let's go ahead, disconnect the autopilot, and just start our way down. So we're going to pull the power back a little bit. And we're just going to let the plane kind of slowly descend here while we bleed a little bit of speed. This is saying we're right about 10 miles away from that bay. This is a good spot to begin descending. There are no seaplanes that service this island, then why are we heading toward it in a seaplane? Number one, for fun. Number two, you technically could land, dock it, or anchor it, and if you have enough fuel to get back to Hivaoa, then you're fine. And in this case, with the amount of fuel that we're carrying, we would. you can anchor in the harbor, like a lot of sailboats do, and then what you would have to do is just get into a small boat. So that's what people do, is they actually anchor their sailboats in this bay, and then they can get a small boat to get onto shore, onto the actual island. I believe there is a place that like cargo ships and stuff can pull up to. But life out here is very remote. Oh no! It's a trap, Jurassic Park. He's a pirate, he may sell us? No! Come on! It totally is Mary General Akbar. Oh, that's messed up. I'm just hoping this terrain renders as well as it looked when I zoomed in on the map. Looks like it's actually pretty well replicated. But it's absolutely spectacular. I could go into the history of this island a little bit, but be warned, it is PG-13. That is not a joke. $1,500 feet. Yeah, we're 5 miles away, so our descent profile's actually looking really good. There it is, the town of Hanavave. I can turn that marker off, I know where we're going. But at least it displayed, you all can see. Only 2 towns on the island, that one, and then there's one back here to the south. If someone was going to buy me, they would give me back and request a refund later. I'm 40 years past PG-13, my friend. Fire away. Okay. So Fatu Hiva is the most remote of the inhabited Marquesas Islands. And I believe in the history of the Marquesas, it was kind of like the Hawaiian Islands, where the islands kind of warred against each other, and sometimes there were different tribes within or on one island that would fight. And it got pretty violent. Supposedly human sacrifice was, well, I don't think like ritual human sacrifice was a thing, but what they would often do, and this was the case like Hawaii, in war, they would sacrifice their enemies to their gods. And there was a god of fertility in the ancient Marquesan religion, which I think followed very similar to the kind of the other religions, the pantheons of deities throughout the Marquesas and the other French Polynesian islands, what are French Polynesia today. Ooh, and it is starting to get bumpy. Let's get the plane slowed down to flaps 1. Oh yes, no, this is rendering very nicely. Great. Alright, we can go flaps 1 more below 95. They ate people like pizza. That is not confirmed. It's rumored, but it's been debated whether cannibalism was actually a thing, or whether it was just legend, or if it maybe was isolated based on if, you know, if people went hungry or if it had something to do with perhaps the war culture. Anyway, the god of fertility, they had these rock statues, and they actually named this bay kind of after the god of fertility, for reasons I think I don't need to explain. And then actually when the missionaries came and converted the island to Christianity, they tried to take away that influence, and they called it the Bay of Virgins. And that is actually the name that it has to this day. Alright, we're slow enough we can add our next step of flaps.
Here's up for water landing. Here's up for water landing.
Alright, silence that. Yes, you can speak twice and forever hold your peace. We're a little bit low, so we're going to add some power in. Kind of hold this flare. We're going to touch down gently because these waters can get a bit choppy, given that they're in the ocean and not like a lake. Pineapple and prisoners of war. Oh man, no. Anyway, after the missionaries came, they renamed the bay to try to remove the influence of what the old religion had, trying to encourage like purity and dedication to Jesus and everything like that. And that has held today. Wow, we are floating. It is breezy through here. All right, that's a little bit bumpy. But there we are. And yeah, you can see that the water is definitely a little bit more profound over here, but we're down, and this is actually functioning very much like an ocean would, as opposed to the lakes up in New York where we landed before. So this is the fabled Bay of Virgins, as it is called to this day. It's not replicated totally accurately. These are supposed to be more like coconut palms and stuff like that on these islands. But this is absolutely spectacular. And then you have this one village nestled in over here. And anyway, though, the religion, the missionaries' work on the Marquesan Islands have held to this day. The people of all 6 of the inhabited islands are deeply Catholic. And while they do hold to a lot of the native traditions, like for example, the native Marquesans are very heavily tattooed, and the tattoos in Polynesian culture kind of represents your history, your tribe, stuff like that. But the people are very faithful. And almost everybody on the islands today, whether they're Polynesians from other islands or native Marquesans or Europeans, are very devoutly Catholic, compared with much of the rest of French Polynesia, where I believe like Tahiti and stuff like that, it was more Protestant. But the islands today are still very deeply religious. Yeah, now we have these coconut groves. That's kind of what you would, in the real world, you would see more of. Ooh, this water is choppy. Let's beach and I'll get the airplane shut down. You wouldn't really do this in the real world. You would be more likely to just anchor your seaplane if possible. But to my knowledge, there are no seaplane charters or anything that actually fly to Fatuhiva. And there we are, still affected by the waves. We go ahead and cut the power right here, so we can turn these lights off and the alternator. And it is really just a spectacular location. This is the larger of the 2 towns, Omoa, further down south. I'll pull the map up and you can see. But we're right here. The second town actually sits, it's a little bit less protected by the bay. It's kind of more right out at the edge. But there is a river that goes up. And there's some pretty nice waterfalls down that way. So, but this is a really pretty area. Famous place to fly sail, I should say. Just absolutely gorgeous and fantastic hiking. You can actually drive between the two towns. It's a small island, but it takes a long... Oh, look, we're drifting. The waves are pushing us back out. Oh, man. Yeah, that was spectacular. Alright. Alright, as requested, we'll do one more flight. Oh, that's cool. As we kind of zoom out, there's a view of the town there. And we rise up into the cliffs. It's just absolutely spectacular. Look at that. I love that. I could look at that all day, but then we'd never do our third flight. Anyway, if you zoom in, actually the towns are, that one's not that much smaller. But yeah, you can kind of see how the road weaves up over that ridge, and it's very windy. Okay, let's go up to Alaska, find a good place to fly up there. It's starting to cloud over. Why not have great options for this? Tell you what, let's go from Lily Lake, which is right next to downtown. It's right in the middle of downtown Kodiak. This is the municipal downtown airport. And the main Kodiak airport where we flew out of yesterday is right back here. Coast Guard base right here. Fun fact, this right here is a Quality Inn hotel, and it has a terrible rating, like 2.5 stars on Google or something like that. Yeah, Quality Inn, more like low quality today. Alright, let's set a departure. And we can go... Port Lions, that's a... Oh, that's a land airport. Yeah, we could land. Probably expensive too, it is. Yes, it is very expensive. But people can live off the land down on those islands. I mean, all the fruits grow as they need. They do have to ship a bunch of cargo and supplies in and stuff like that. Why is the rating so bad there? Probably just poor service conditions? I don't know. Seal Bay Seaplane Base. Is there a town over here? Might just be a remote community. I don't know. We could go all the way up, but the flight to Seldovia would be long. I'll bet the rooms are, wait for it, too cold. Yeah, who knows? Old Harbor. Hey, look, there's snow on the ground. Yeah. Good old flight sim. Let me pull the chart up for Alaska. Looking for a good seaplane base that we could land. Yeah, so the flight to Seldovia is about 50 minutes. I don't want to go that far. Well, there's a place on a Fognak Island called... Oh, Shuyak Island is the very northernmost. There's a seaplane base. Sits kind of in here. And there's a single cabin somewhere. Let's see if we can find it. According to the map, it should be somewhere over here. Good luck. It's Trident Basin. Well, there's, on Kodiak proper. Port Lions. Port Bailey is a seaplane base. Not sure why it isn't showing up on here. Tell you what, we're not even gonna go anywhere. We're just gonna fly around and just take a look at the views. So let's just load in. I think with this we're gonna have our engines actually started up. We do. Ready to fly. Not bad weather down here in Kodiak right now. So let's just set the flaps and take off. And just kind of enjoy the view. Up. Beautiful. Flaps up. So that right down here is Kodiak's Municipal Airport. And we're flying right over the main city of Kodiak. Actually holds about 5,000 people. Of course, fishing and crabbing is actually a big industry here in Kodiak. If you take a look out that way, we can't really see it right now, but if we turn, we will. I'll just fly around and enjoy the view. Should we do a flight after this, maybe in the Vision Jet? Somewhere. Fly to a couple bigger airports or something. Kind of off the coast of Kodiak is a lot of small islands. Great view of the city here. This is the seaplane base that we took off from. And that's Kodiak's main airport. Or I'm sorry, that's the downtown airport. The main airport, you can kind of see it over here. This is right back there. That's where the Coast Guard base and everything is. This is a little bit different from Polynesia. It looks a little bit like Cleo Bay in Ireland. Yeah, a little bit. Trying to trim the plane out a little bit. It's a little choppy when we do that for some reason. But yeah, with all the tiny islands around it, yeah. Yeah, you can see it better now. And that's Kodiak's main airport. It is pretty rugged terrain too, and of course Kodiak is home to the famous Kodiak brown bears, one of the largest bear species in the world. Alright, tell you what, let's go ahead and level off. We'll have to trim the plane down. Nose shouldn't be dropping quite like that when we set the trim. Not sure why it's doing that right now. It wasn't doing that before, so I'm not really sure why it's doing it now. Yeah, great view. That's the main runway coming into Kodiak's main airport. That's Barometer Mountain, very prominent peak if you come in and land this direction, which is the most common way to go in. You get a beautiful view of Barometer Mountain coming in. Alright, there we reset the trim. 365 tiny islands in Cleo Bay. Interesting. Alright, tell you what, let's actually,
Here's up for water landing.
let the plane fly itself around a little bit. And let's see maybe where we could have a decent location to... Yeah, so the island is actually fairly large. This is the airport of Akayok right here. It's a very small town on the southwest side of the island. That'd probably be about a almost 40-minute flight down that way. So what we might just do is kind of fly around and circle back. Maybe we'll land. We'll actually put the gear down and do a water landing or a dry landing at Kodiak's main airport. So we can all go to that Quality Inn and leave a 2-star review on Google. Turn the autopilot off and... Hey look! Snow on the ground in the summer! Well, it's kind of fall, but yeah, anyway. Some things never change in flight sim, folks. This is really cool though. This sim looks fantastic and it runs like a charm. I've had great luck with it. I know other people haven't been as lucky with it, but it's worked out really well for me, so I'm happy. Kodiak Station right there is the Coast Guard base. So this is kind of a short, like, almost like a seaplane tour. Let's take some power out, level in at 2,000 feet. The weather's good here. It's often clouded over at Kodiak. The weather's actually pretty good here today. And if you look up that way, that's more a Fognak Island out there. And then, I don't think we can see it here, but the Kenai Peninsula would be kind of up that way in the distance. Y'all enjoy the quality in dropping me off at my cruise ship? Yeah, you know what? That sounds like a better idea. Let's all get aboard the cruise ship. Question is, where? That reminds me of that one in the old sim that we did into Seward, and the cargo ship was doing donuts in the water. That was so baffling. Alright, we can go ahead and take the power out and turn final. Yeah, we overshot the runway a little bit. Let's just correct. Let's make sure our gear go down. And flaps 1. Barometer Mountain is not directly ahead of us. It's this one just off to the left, right here. We're actually coming in, I believe this is runway 29. Still a fun approach. And there's actually a beach. Kind of sits right up along here, kind of in this little cove right there. Now, don't be mistaken, you're not gonna get a towel and lay out there in the sunshine and read a book or go swimming in the water. It's probably very chilly. Flaps 2. Now let's take the power out. Now it's telling us make sure our gear is down. Our gear is down. Add a little bit of power back in. We're coming in a little bit low there. We don't even need to go flaps 3. There we go. We've stabilized. We're only flying about 55 miles an hour right now. JP, what's going on, man? And we can actually land long. This plane just wants to fly and float. Let's get corrected back over. Layer. And we're down. Let's go flaps up. Can you fly the 717 around Hawaii in this sim? I believe the 717 you would have to find like a payware version of the aircraft. But yeah, I mean theoretically if you get one you could. Absolutely. Alright, and on this, so we have to turn onto the main runway. Kodiak in 20 is notorious for bad behaved vehicles. I wonder if that's corrected in this. Gotta go now, good night. Alright, Kyle, thanks so much for hanging out. Have a great evening. Yeah, now we're looking at it. This is the main runway. You come in, Barometer Mountain is that steep peak right over there. So we just have to taxi down this runway a little bit, and then make the turn. Oh, right up here. Look at that, the center lines are misaligned. Interesting. They do have good add-on scenery mods for this airport, so maybe we're looking to get one. But so far it looks like the vehicles are well behaved. Interesting. Oh yeah, the mountain peaks around here are just incredible. This is easily one of my favorite places to fly. I love going in and out of Kodiak. And we'll turn up here. And we'll come up right up to the hangar and shut down. Also tinker with the coaster from yesterday. I used your advice, got rid of some trees, just the ones that need to be in the area of the ride, and adding more theming and edited the coaster. Good deal. Alright. Set the parking brake. And let's go ahead and shut the airplane down. So turn the alternator, avionics off. Cut the mixture. Airplane is stopped. And there we are. AS Beach, and that's funny because it's a Beechcraft. That's a Bear and it's a twin engine. Cool airplane. Alright, since I don't have anybody to shout get off the runway to, we can see our co-pilot's just like content, sitting up there in a seat. Get out the airplane! I couldn't resist, I'm sorry. Oh man, I should behave myself. I do wonder though, like there's gotta be a way to go without a co-pilot. Probably weight and balance or something like that section. What is the mixture? It seems like it should be an obvious answer. It isn't. So I'll get back in the airplane and I'll show you. The mixture is this red knob. Most planes have it, but a few prop planes don't. Jets don't deal with this, but the prop planes do. So the mixture has to do with the amount of fuel versus the amount of air that goes into the engine. You want to have your mixture set to different things based on what you're doing, and also how high you're flying. So, generally, on the ground, when you're taxiing, you can lean the mixture to burn a little bit less fuel on the ground, but you could usually leave it full rich and it's fine. When you take off, the mixture needs to be full rich. What that does is it maximizes the amount of fuel and minimizes the amount of air going into the engine. That gives you your combustion for your engine power. And then when you get higher up in altitude, as you climb higher and higher, and then especially when you get to cruise, you lean the mixture. And what that means is you reduce the amount of fuel going into the engine and you increase the amount of air. And you need to lean it more the higher you're flying because the air is thinner. So it's about engine performance. If your mixture is too high, too rich, you're basically wasting fuel. If it's too lean, then there's not enough air for combustion to burn the fuel. Or no, that's if it's too rich. I'm sorry, there's not enough air to burn all the fuel up, so you're just kind of basically wasting fuel. If it's too lean, there's too much air, and you're in a sense, starving the engine of the fuel that it needs to produce the amount of power it's supposed to for your designated performance. So when I talk about mixture full rich, all the way in. When we lean it, we're pulling it back. When we enrichen it, we're pushing it forward without going all the way. And then idle cutoff, full out, and that basically cuts the fuel into the engine, and that's what actually we do to shut the airplane down. That burns up all of the fuel remaining in the engine, so it doesn't sit there. Because when you go to set it, start it up, if there's too much fuel, you can, just like a car, you can flood the engine. So that's how that works. Also, Bromik, you found your account on Planco 2. Your creations are actually impressive, better than what I've made. Oh, he does a fantastic job. So yeah, there we are. Welcome to beautiful Kodiak. There is a control tower over there, down by the base side. So, alright, we'll end that flight. So that's 3 short flights in the XCub seaplane. Of course, it's amphibious, which means you're able to land and take off on land and water. Whereas I think there are a few seaplanes in this where you are limited strictly to water. But zoom. Exit back out to the main screen. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in this game. They've got challenges, activities. World Photographer, I believe, is you go around and just look at all of these cool landmarks, bridges. They've got them for different... oh, I know what that is. Lake Bled in Slovenia right there. So, but yeah, some really cool stuff to see. So. I haven't decided if I'm going to come back and fly again later, or if we're going to do Planco 2 tonight. But I need to get up and take a break. I should be back on later. There's a chance I'll just take the night off. I'm not sure right now. Also, it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to stream tomorrow, because I'm going to be getting home pretty late. I've got some stuff to do after work. There's a chance we will. No promises. But yeah, so hope you all enjoyed the flights. I'm going to go ahead and end this stream right here. So, yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for flying with me. It may catch you all later. If not, then we'll pick back up, I believe, on Wednesday. As always, folks, take care, stay safe. We'll see ya.